It's Lee Sin, the Blind Monk, an agile kick puncher in League of Legends with bad eyes but plenty of other muscles to make up for him. Lee Sin is an AD jungler that uses energy as a resource and has plenty of ways to leap to allies and enemies and punch baddies till they explode into blood. You can read more about him on IGN's wiki page, which includes a full ability list, stats info, some lore, and of course, this little video. But enough jibber jabber. Lee Sin is a powerful jungler that's probably killed all of us more times than we care to admit. This is a kill guide, so let's talk about the best ways to take this jerk down. Rule number 1, he sees you and he's flying at you. For a blind man, Lee Sin sure sees a whole lot. He's one of the only champions in the game that has 2 different abilities that grant true sight of enemy champions, which means he can see you no matter where you go, even if you're stealthed. And one of those abilities is an AoE. So stealth champions are not safe anywhere near him. Oh, and when he does reveal you with his Sonic Wave ability, he can also instantly leap at your face for free. Good times. Rule number 2, avoid him early. All of Lee Sin's pre-ultimate abilities have a second activation effect if he hits an enemy with them, and he uses energy instead of mana. That means he has tons of options for survivability, mobility, and face punching before you've even bought your first big item. That versatility and power lets him outduel almost any jungler and most laners early on in the game. His power does wane off in the late game though, and he doesn't contribute as much in teamfights as other junglers. So avoid him early on if you can, and try to hold out for the long-term victory. Which is hard to do because... Rule number 3, your jungle is his jungle. Lee Sin's leap-tasticness and strong early game means that he loves to counter jungle by stealing the camps in his opponent's jungle. And your jungler is just going to have to let him do it because, well, there's not much you can do about it. Lee Sin is also great at escaping, so sending your laners will only send Lee Sin fleeing to his jungle, not the graveyard. Still, I guess that's better than giving him free roam of your team's buffs. Rule number 4, watch for wards. The best way Lee Sin escapes is by placing a ward over a wall and leaping to it. So keep an eye on Lee Sin's inventory and track his trinket cooldowns if he's placing wards with it. Try to gank him or counter jungle him when you know he has no wards to use, because if he can place a ward, he will escape you. Rule number 5, keep him in front of you. Lee Sin's power drops off in the late game, but one major thing he can still contribute is his ultimate, which is a superpowered kick that sends one enemy flying backwards. In fights, Lee Sin will almost always try and leap to your AD carry or mid laner, run behind them, and then kick them towards his team for a quick death. So as soon as he starts leaping at you, if you're one of the carries, run backwards. Sure, you lose DPS, but he's going to chase you, and your team should be able to kill him while he does. Eventually, at low health, he'll get desperate and kick you no matter where you are. Running back will ensure that the desperation kick sends you flying backwards to safety instead of to your doom. And that, my friends, is how you take out Lee Sin, the Blind Monk in League of Legends. I hope it helps you stay alive when facing off against him in-game. If you have any other tricks for taking him down, jump on over to the IGN wiki page and leave some advice for your fellow gamers. Until next time, happy fighting, Summoners.